I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
His father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What is up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing well on this late night Paranormal Odyssey episode. We are very, very happy to have you. I am Wayne, your host, joined as always by my partner in crime, Miss Tiffany. What's up, ma'am?
Not too much. Glad to be here on this rainy evening. It's raining everywhere.
I know it, right? It rained all freaking day. Y'all caught me being a little bit occupied. Our guest Jeremy is backstage. He just sent me a few more pictures, so I'm uploading those right now so we can.
Yeah, it was so exciting. He came backstage like 30 minutes. We've been just backstairs. Oh my God, you did that before. Backstairs. What the hell is backstairs? Backstage. Just laughing.
Yeah, I love that cunt.
I do too. He's our favorite cunt. He's y'all's too. So we're glad to have been able to bring you your favorite cunt again.
Yeah, them damn dirty bum koalas.
That's right. You know what I was thinking about today? I ran across this TikTok video and I want to ask him, why did they make Vegemite?
Who?
Vegemite.
Vegemite. Is that like a explosive vegetable?
No. Well, I mean, people kind of explode out of their mouth when they eat it if they're in America, but I don't know. It's like it looks almost like I want to say hazelnut spread, but it's really thick and dark. But they obviously put it on their toast or something.
Yeah, well, we'll ask them about it if you want to. I don't really care.
I think that's in Australia. Or maybe I'm on.
I do want to clarify real quick because I see Stormy here is a fairly new member of the show, and if there's anyone else out there watching that's new to the show, cunt is a term of endearment.
Oh yeah, we should probably explain that.
Yeah, it's not a dirty word over there, and Jeremy is very much Australian. He is over there hanging out. It is about 1 o'clock on Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. on Sunday over there.
He's from the future.
He is. He can't get me any lotto numbers, though. I don't know what the fuck good he is.
Oh my gosh.
All right, what's going on with you, ma'am? Anything new, interesting going on?
No, but let's recap on our screw up. So the last show we had, right?
Yeah.
This was asked in the poll question. If
I was intoxicated.
I had on my Mickey Mouse pajama pants because I always do. I wear this really, business up top, casual at the bottom. I wear these, my Mickey Mouse pajama pants. And so that was asked in the poll question. We are stupid and completely forgot to answer it. So if you remember, there's a picture of me in Discord from that show, and I have on my nice purple sweater and my Mickey Mouse pajama pants. So I did that night. I don't tonight, though.
Yeah. So the answer to that poll question was yes. She was wearing the Mickey Mouse breeches.
Breeches. Breeches. That's such a funny word.
Chris Blaylock says Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah, like it was this dad and son, and this dad was like, here, just taste it. And so he's like inching in on the spoon, and he's like gagging. And the dad's like, it's not that bad. So he takes the spoonful and just down the hatch with it. Yeah.
And he took it? He didn't get sick or anything?
No, he got sick. He had to run off the camera.
The dad?
Yes.
What the hell is it? I'm going to have to Google Vegemite.
Yeah, you'll have
in the middle of a show.
Yeah, so there were like, the comments on there was like, yeah, we put it on bread, but the secret to eating Vegemite is putting a ton of butter on toasted bread and then put the Vegemite. And they're all like, y'all don't eat this straight out of the container because it's so gross.
Okay. I was wondering, because in my head, I've got this image of, have you ever had potted meat?
Yes, but it's not potted meat at all.
Okay. My dad, I still like potted meat because I grew up eating it because my dad ate it. My dad, they were poor growing up. They lived in Alabama and didn't have a whole lot of money. And that's something that they ate.
We hate those little the little Vienna sausages that came in the
another one. Potted
can.
meat, Vienna sausages, and Spam. I don't do Spam. I can't.
It's so salty.
I can't make myself. See, I love salt, so maybe I should try it. But I just can't bring myself to eat Spam. But it's the really Vienna sausages and the potted meat, I grew up on, and I love them. I still eat them today.
Yeah, Spam's not really any different than, to me, in my opinion, than the little Vienna sausages. It's just in a rectangle.
What is that?
The Spam? Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you open the can and it comes out in this big slab.
Oh, yeah, I know. And you got to cut it. And people fry it and say it's really good.
Yeah, they eat it for breakfast.
Spam and eggs, Chris says.
Spam and eggs. Yep.
God, I've got this nephew, Logan. God bless him. Speaking of Alabama, that's where he lives. He will open the Vienna sausage and drink the jelly.
Oh God. That's
he just sucks it out of the can. When I eat them, I have to run the entire can under cold water and dump it. I have to wash them before I can eat them. And then I like them. Unless you get like the flavored barbecue or something like that.
I've not ever had the flavored kind. I just pull the little Vienna sausages out, but I wouldn't dream of ingesting
that slimy ass snot. That
hook.
We have gotten so far off topic.
I know, but aren't we so fun? We're talking about potted meat and
we're 9 minutes in and we're talking about potted meat and little wieners and Spam.
It's the after hour show effect. It just takes us over. Sorry, y'all.
Vegemite. That is.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pay some bills, ma'am.
Okay.
Guys, if you're new to the show tonight, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We hope you come back. In order to do so, please hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications, hit the bell, and all that stuff. We'll let you know about upcoming shows. And our boy T-Roy awesomely took it upon himself to create a PO Freaks little messenger chat group just to notify people when we're going to have shows come up. So I appreciate that, buddy. But yeah, if you're new tonight, please hit that subscribe button before you leave.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and I, you can reach out to both of us, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com, and we talk about everything on this show. So there is no encounter that we do not want to hear. So reach out to us and we'll get you scheduled for January.
Shit, we talk about potted meat.
I mean, what other show is going to talk about potted meat?
I mean, let's be real. Where are you going to get that?
Exactly.
All right. I want to ask everybody, head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. That is our website. Mr. Brian King Sharp has put together. Head over there. Check out all of the shows under the studio's umbrella. Pick you up some merch. Sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter. All that cool stuff. But you got to head over to paranormalworldproductions.com to do any of it.
And if you have any questions and or comments
for that cunt backstage,
please put them in all capital letters and I will grab them up and we will ask our favorite cunt at the end of the show, as long as they are all in capital letters.
That is right. All right.
So funny, Wayne.
Losing my spot. Talk a little bit about the membership. $1.99 a month. If you have not taken advantage of that, we would appreciate it if you did. Like I said, we've had a few new members sign up recently. Miss Stormy is one of those, so thank you, ma'am. And if you're watching tonight, Mr. Alex Schmidt says best $1.99 any cunt can spend. I agree. Good God, that's a big dog. Why have I not noticed the size of that fucking dog's head? Are you muted?
Sorry.
Look at that dog's head. That's a mastiff, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that an English mastiff? Bull mastiff? What is that, Alex? But good Lord, that's a big dog.
I know. Alex's head looks so small.
I know. Either Alex has a tiny head or that dog has a huge one. It's probably a little bit of both.
Oh my gosh. Maybe Alex is Bob off of Beetlejuice.
That's Moses. 198-pound English Mastiff.
There you go. That's a whole lot of dog.
I raised Great Danes for years, and I've always wanted a Mastiff. I got a thing for big dogs. An Irish Wolfhound is another one I would love to have.
Oh, yeah. Those are gorgeous dogs.
They really are.
Look at us talking about potted meat and dogs. Where can you get this on any other show?
Yeah, we're neglecting our guest that's waiting patiently.
I know.
So the last thing I'll say, if you look at the bottom, the Cash App and the Venmo is open if you guys want to help us out. In that way, we would certainly appreciate that. YouTube likes to take their fees. You guys have been awesome about hitting us with super stickers. We appreciate that. But like we said, YouTube takes 30-40%. I don't know how much. But they take about as much as we make over there. So if you want to help us out, without us getting hit with all the fees, that's a way of doing it. Completely up to you. We love you. We appreciate you. All right. Poor Jeremy is probably like, what the fuck? Well, let's get to this cunt backstage. Y'all know Jeremy. He has been on. We tried the first time and there was something wrong with the internet. The second time, this last time he came on, had a great show. We've been talking to him for, like Tiffany said, 30 minutes now. And everything seems to be working fine. So everything should go smoothly. Knock on wood. He is a Yowie hunter over in Australia. And just a hell of a guy. If y'all listen to that Bigfoot podcast, which most everyone in here does, y'all have heard Jeremy quite a few times. He calls in a lot and leaves us voicemails. Just a really, really good dude. I am very proud to call him a friend.
Absolutely.
So we are going to bring him out right now. Jeremy, what's up, buddy?
Hey.
Hang on, a mastiff has just walked past with a can of potted meat in its mouth. I just gotta. How are you guys?
How are you, man?
I'm good. Sorry, Wayne.
Glad to have you, cunt.
I'm glad to be here, cunts.
Y'all have potted meat over there?
No. Oh, we got Spam and stuff, but not the. I think we do have little Vienna sausages in the cans, but I think you go to jail if you drink the sludge out of it. So.
Yeah, please don't drink the sludge out of it. That's so gross.
Yuck! No, I would not be doing that.
I'm telling you, man. He lives in Alabama too.
I guess don't knock it till you try it.
Well, I ain't trying.
Especially Vegemite.
So what's Vegemite?
The Vegemite is made from brewer's yeast, and it was created because there was a shortage in the First World War from Marmite. There was not enough Marmite, so then they created Vegemite. And even though it's an Australian thing, it was owned by an American company.
Mayamite? What did you say?
Marmite.
Marmite.
I'll try to say it with your accent. Marmite.
Hey, that's perfect, dude. You can speak. That was awesome.
Man, I could do the whole show like this.
Please do. God, please do.
Well, I can't say cunt, man.
God damn, you got a great redneck impersonation.
My partner and I talk to my daughter like that when we're being silly, and she just looks at us like, what?
What'd you say?
That is awesome. Awesome.
That's funny.
All right, what's been going on over in Australia, buddy? I know you've been out in the woods doing some more research. What are you guys coming across?
At bush, yeah. Well, we just had like 2 weeks worth of just shitloads of rain, so we had to wait for that to die down a bit because even if it's not raining out there and it's pissed down for ages, the creeks are just so full that one, you can't hear anything because of the water noise, and two, it's just you don't want to get wet when you're trudging through the bush and get those wet feet, straight away. So I had to wait for that to die down for a week or so, and then we have been out a few times at night time, so early evening into the night, but we don't stay too late because it's the only time we've got and we can't stay late as it is. So, but it's like I say on my videos to people, I say any chance or time you get, go out and do it. One, to be out in nature is the best thing to do, and two, it's just you got to do it. If the only time you do it and you enjoy it, just go out and do it because you never know what you'll find. There's times I've been out I've only had 2 hours to be out there, and boom, that's when I've had encounters and stuff. So it's a thing of luck, I think.
Now, Jeremy, the place that you go, is that relatively close to your home? Is it a place that you can like walk outside and just go walk there, or do you have to drive a certain distance?
If you walked, it would probably take an hour and a half to walk there, really. Driving's only 25, 30 minutes max, so maybe even 2 hour walk. There's a back way I can go, which is only 20 minutes. Otherwise, if I want to park in the actual national park parking area, I've got to go around the long way around the mountain, so it's 30 minutes.
Okay, so you have to actually like make plans to go out on an outing. I didn't know if it was something you just walk out your backyard and just start walking and you're there. No,
I wish. Soon, one day it will happen.
That would be ideal, like Mr. Brian King Sharp, that bastard.
Yeah, that's exactly. I want to live on the back of a national park so I can just go in and do it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal. I think that's every Bigfooter's dream, or Yowie, or whatever you call you guys over there. You have a name?
Mad Cunts.
Mad Cunts. There you go.
I'll just say squatching. People call it us Yowie hunters and stuff. I think it's a range of things, but I say I'm going squatching to my partner. She knows what that means. Oh, Dad's might not come back. Here, let's see.
Now, I know, I mean, you probably can't answer this question because there's not really any way of knowing because I'm not there and you're not here. But I'm wondering if it's as big in Australia as it is here. I mean, do y'all have communities of people that just love Yowies and just memorabilia and like going out and looking and conferences and festivals and shit like that?
Yeah, so there is. It's nowhere near as big as over there. There are a lot of groups, and over there as well. It's the same where we have some groups that you just wouldn't even bother being part of because it's blob squatches and red circles posted constantly. But there's other really good groups like Yowie Central that's run by Sarah Bignell and Gary Lynn's one of the administrators. They call him the Finderer. He's one of my mates, and he finds a lot of stuff out there. He's a researcher as well, and they literally don't let anyone post any of that bullshit. They get rid of it and stuff. So there is good and bad groups. There are little conferences that people have, but they're more paranormal, so it's a bit of everything. But it's nowhere near as big as over there, I can say.
So do you have like like here I'm at in Tennessee. If I get out riding around on any day, I'll see a half dozen or a dozen Bigfoot stickers on cars everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like that over there? Do
No.
no?
It's literally like a needle in a haystack that you see stuff like that here. Every now and then you might see a sticker, but I think it's more towards the paranormal side of like everything, ghosts to do it with everything like that. Otherwise, if you're down the Gold Coast where I live, you might see Dean Harrison driving around, who's the administrator of the AYR, Australian Yowie Research, and his number plate is literally just Yowie.
Really?
So my number plate's Yowie as well, but it's backwards.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
And my buddy Kevin, who I don't know if Kevin's in here tonight, but his is a Squatcher or something like that. His
Yeah, right.
So it's pretty cool.
Well, they're all taken. I've tried to do other variants of it as a personalised plates, and everyone's got them. I'm like, wow.
I know.
I'm like, fuckers.
Damn cunts. Well,
right? That's not a term of endearment when you're talking about them. You fucking cunt.
Yeah. I thought about doing it, but yeah, that same thing you're talking about right now is just maybe if you finagled it just right, like a 8 for a B, and then a 1,
yep.
and then a G, and then an F, and like a 0 and an O and a T. You know, you just have to get creative with it. Maybe you could.
That's what mine is. Y0WI33.
There you go.
But it's backwards, so you'll see it in your rearview mirror and you can read it. But then if you look at it normally, you're like, what the fuck?
What's this problem?
Boy.
That's awesome. Let's look at some of the stuff you've been getting into lately. I'm gonna pop these up that you sent that we shared last time. A couple of prints just to refresh people's memory. Yep.
So the bottom print there is the first one I found of these type of prints. And then 2 weeks later, I went out and with a mate. So the first time I was by myself. 2 weeks later, I went out with a mate, and that top print I found with him, which was awesome because then I could be like, look, this is what I fucking found. This is what I cast. And they both had the exact same measurements, the shape, everything, that cut line at the top, like it's like a square top box toe. You can see the big toe sticking out to the right on both of the photos.
That does look like the exact same print.
It's dead set. Like when we found it, I was like, yeah, Matt, look. I was just like, fuck, it's either some kid with a fucked up foot running around or leaving one print or it's literally a juvenile, a Jungity, the smaller type. But humans don't just leave one print. You'll find multiple. Like this, unless someone's trying to fuck with you. But where I find half of these, it's like no one, unless you know it's there, you just don't go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this literally just hit me. If you look at the one on the top, on like the right side, it almost looks like something stepped in sand and then transferred the sand to the next print. You see what I'm talking about?
Gotcha.
Come off the bottom of like the foot.
Yep. Yeah, like the fresher, drier stuff, maybe.
Yeah, because that looks like different.
The color's lighter, that light gray or white sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that be possible?
Yeah, possibly.
Is that close to the sand?
If you look to the right of it, you can see like there's a bit of scuff like carrying on right in that top right corner. So right there was a boot print right beside it that was like scattered and messy, like it was a human boot print. And this was literally right beside it, like, and you can see how deep it is. And the boot print was just messy and splayed everything away. Everything just fell apart because it's all like really coarse sand or really small gravels in the creek bed. And the one on the left, it was just a perfect. It's literally like someone's made a stencil and done it. But where I'm finding them is, like I said, like you would see boot tracks leading up if someone was going to hoax it. It's impossible to not leave a trace if you're a human doing it. And I think that we assumed that from that top picture that whatever, if it is a Jungity or a juvenile Yowie, that it was following whoever it was walking up that creek, because that footprint, I mean, if someone's left that, as if you're not going to see that right beside it.
Now, that's the second time I've heard you say Jungity.
Jungity, yep. So they're the smaller type that we have here.
So like a juvenile Yowie?
Well, they're their own category, so they only get to like 5 foot tall sort of thing.
Oh, so it's a different thing?
Yep. So you got Jungities or Jungity, Doulagar or Yowies, which are the medium size, like up to 8 foot sort of thing. And then up north, you've got what's called the Quinkin, and they're like 10 foot.
Holy fuck! I didn't know any of that.
I am intrigued.
So 3 different types. Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to send me that because I won't remember those words. But type them out,
Yeah.
send them to me, Jeremy, because I want to look into that.
Yeah.
I've heard you say Junjity a couple of times now, and I didn't know if that was just like a saying for young person or something over there, or what.
It's I think it means trickster or something in the indigenous language. That's how they call it. Because the Westerners say brown jacks, which is another, is the Western name for Junjity. So they're only small, like little brown jacks, and they're meant to be tricksters. Yeah.
You Australian bastards. I love y'all. The whole culture. I don't know. God, I want to get over there. I get my ass kicked, I'm sure.
Come in winter, because right now we're having a heat wave, and it's you can probably tell I'm fucking a bit red. It's fucking hot.
Really? Because it's freezing over here. That's so wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's summertime right now over there.
Yep. It's always summer at Christmas for us here. It's always summer.
Did you have a good Christmas? I didn't even ask you.
Yeah, had a great one. It was awesome. Yep. Nice and chill. Bit warm, but nice and chill.
I can't imagine a hot Christmas.
Just a lot of sweaty bum cracks.
God, I love you, man. Sweaty bum cracks.
Yeah.
Sweaty bum cracks gathered around the fire.
I had somewhere I was going to go, but I don't know now.
Did you check yourself? Oh, yeah. Hang on.
All right. Now this one. Do you think maybe that's the same print? That's definitely harder to see.
It's harder to see because it was borderline nighttime when we found this, which is literally a week ago. And where it was is beside a dam, but the back of the dam where there's no walking tracks or anything, you got to bushwhack it to get there. And if you look at the bottom of the photo where it's that darker spot, that's actually like the heel impression there. And up to the right, there's a big toe that lines out. So you could probably overlay those other prints on it with more timing and stuff. I probably should have done that for you, sorry. But that's in my latest video. And it shows, like, you can see it better on video as I'm walking around it and whatnot. But when Matt found it as well, because he's on the fence with it, even though he's experienced stuff with me and seen things when he was a kid, like a Neanderthal man, my mate Matt that I go with, he's still like me. We need to see it. We need to look in the eyes of it, shit our pants from that, not anything else, just to know. But even with what we're finding, like this, it's just nuts. Like, he found it, went, there's triangle foot. That's the name, the coin we've turned for, the term we've coined for it, sorry. So we call it triangle foot because it's pretty much like its heel's really small and it goes out to that square top V, you know?
Yeah. Now, have you?
So that was the.
Have you cast it?
Sorry, go. Yep. So the first one down the bottom, I took a cast of. Even though it was in sand, it came out with the perfect cast.
That's right. You sent us that picture last time, and that
yes,
you can really, really appreciate why you call it triangle foot.
Yeah, it's just, and even the big toe on the cast is just stupid. Like, it's stupid how big it was. Like, it's bigger than like a grown adult's toe, yet it's on this tiny size foot.
That's so weird.
So I don't know if it's something where, I mean, it's all speculation, but is it a juvenile being carried by its parent and then put down, and that's the one impression that it makes and goes, oh fuck, like, shouldn't have stood there? Or is it literally taking an accidental step going, oops? Because that one on the screen now, there was 1.5 meters each way of it, and there was no other impressions than our own when we walked up.
How much is 1.5 meters, Tiffany?
4.5 foot. 6 foot's 2 meters, right? So
yeah, I was going to say
4.5 foot.
Yeah.
Let's see how I am. Come on.
I know. Hold on a second. I'll get.
How's that education system in Australia? Let's see.
3.37 inches. So
3.5.
I didn't listen in school, so.
Wow.
But it's definitely enough to where you'd see the previous step or post step.
Yeah. This one right here intrigued me the most, and it got you and I talking a little bit on Messenger. And I told you, and I've said this before, as much as I've been out looking, I don't know how I feel about structures, like stick
Yep.
structures. But breaks, I've always been intrigued with because you
Mhm.
can't explain some of them, like where they are and how big around the trees are. A man can't do that shit. And you sent me
No.
this one. This one is really intriguing to me
Yeah.
because it's twisted as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's got that slight twist to it. I mean, some people, non-believers, if you want to say, would argue, oh, that's how it's fallen and then twisted, but there was no major foliage on the end of it. So, and it was done when it was green, as you can see from the fibers. So I couldn't even pull that back up with how dry it was after that. And of course, be rational. You got to examine everything. No rot. There's no borers inside. Geez, he's handsome. There's no there's no borers inside it. Like there's a grub here that we called borers, and they actually cockatoos pull and rip bits of tree apart just to get to the borers. So you can see that when that's happened, and that will make a tree snap in half because it's weak now from the rot from the borers for one, and the cockatoos chewing out half of the tree to get to it. So you can find them often, which we do. We find a lot of ones that have rot in them and stuff, but when they're like this, where you can tell that they were done fresh with a bit of a twist to it, as you can see in this one. And then just the correlation that everyone says around the world as well. This was under a power line easement, which is meant to be a way of passage for any animal because it's a lot easier than traversing through thick bush. And this pointed straight to a creek entrance.
That's something else that just intrigues the hell out of me because I've found breaks like this many, many times, and they're almost always pointed in the same direction, which people will argue, okay, well, that's the direction the wind was blowing, and that makes sense. But you're talking about a 2 or a 3-inch circumference.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough area surface for the wind to break that tree. I'm sorry.
Especially if there's no other breaks around from wind breaks.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. The gust of wind that had to come through to snap that right there would have snapped many other trees as well.
Yep.
And we talked about this. You are about 5'10", and that's right there at chest high.
Yep.
Why did it snap halfway up? Like 4 feet off the ground. Why did it snap right there? I don't get it. And something else I asked you about, and you said it's one of the first things you look for, which I commend you. I do as well. Deadfall. Like if a bigger limb from a bigger tree had fallen and caught this on the way down, then that would snap the tree. Yes, but that's not the case here, right?
Negative. No, it's not. There was no deadfall. Like you said, that's the first thing I'll look for as well. And there was no deadfall at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's compelling to me. You get these asshole skeptics that will come up with a million other things. And no, I mean, unless you've been out in the woods and you've grabbed a hold of a tree this size and tried to break it at that level, no.
The best you could do to break a tree like that yourself, I think, is grab it and then kick your feet up on it and use your feet as the wedge break point and pull at the top. You're going to axe yourself doing it. But that's the only way I can see someone breaking it like that. But it would be messier than that. It'd be splayed out. It'd be yuck. This is literally like a clean fucking break and a bit of a twist.
That's twisted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because there's a fire trail that runs beside it, which is like a main, that's what the rangers use to travel around the park on. So it's not technically a walking track, it's the fire trail. And right where that fire trail is, there's a creek crossing, and it shoots up one of these offshoot creeks where I found, when I had my first encounter, that's where I found other impressions, as if they exited out of that way.
Now, were you going to say something, Tiffany? I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're unprofessional. I'll let it slide this time. I was going to say, even if you were to hold that and put all your weight on it to break it, it's not going to twist it like that.
No.
There's no way.
No, I don't think you'd, if it was green especially, there's no chance. You'd have to get some sort of metal device clamped and you're there with mates twirling it around.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, tree breaks, in my opinion, are really, really compelling evidence.
You just got to make sure there's no rot or anything. And if you rule everything else out, you can go, well, let's say that that's a high chance or possibility that was done by our hairy friends.
Exactly. Something with hands that was very, very strong.
Absolutely, because you do find it. Yeah, once you go out in the bush a lot, you do. It's like your backyard then, obviously, or your living room, and you do notice things where you go, "Oh, there's a twist. No, there's a big branch there that hit it, and yep, you can see where it's made contact and snapped it off." But when you find ones like this, like we've up from this power line easement in the same easement on the other side of the power lines, up the hill, probably 20-minute hike. It's literally we found about a 30-meter wide row corridor of just break and twists. And at first we were like, oh, this must have been done by bushfire. But it's only in this little row, like from the heat popping and then making it twist. But it was literally this one little segment to where we just went, nah, because one was at 7 foot high, 6 foot, no shorter than 4 foot, like low. And it was just, even, like I say, Matt's really good to have with me because he's more skeptical than I am, obviously, like with certain things with this subject. And even he was going, someone's done this. Like these are twisted. These are fully done. They were all done green, yet it's only in this little corridor. Because we made sure we went each side of it and there was nothing. So if it's bushfire, it wouldn't just do it in one area. It would do it everywhere if that was the case. There was no borers or rot in these ones. So it is there, and it is one of those things that we can use as trace evidence, I believe, to say this is what they're doing as markers or whatnot.
I agree.
Yeah, let me ask you sorry, Wayne.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Y'all have been having some fires in Australia, right?
Yeah, down south, yep.
Where do you think they go? Where do you think?
So this is a really good, like I mentioned, the podcast Yowie Central by Sarah Bignell. She spoke to a pilot, I'd say 2 months ago, and because he had a report of seeing them flying for putting out bushfires with his helicopter, and he'd see them on the ridge and they would be just moving away from it as it came across. So they move, obviously, like anything would move away from it, and that was his report. And he saw 2 of them when he filled up in the bush, and when he took off originally, he could see 2 of them, or 3, I think, running along the ridge. Because he's like, look, there's people down there, and they'd call back, yep, no, there's no people. And then when he saw them filling up, that's when he made him go, shit, because he said, I think he said that they had charcoal skin, and that's what made my mate Matt rethink about his encounter as a kid, seeing that Neanderthal man in the bush with his dick swinging. Like they thought it was an indigenous man at first, but they're like, he's got no tools or anything. Oh, what the hell? And he had charcoal skin. And it was only when he went to the museum weeks later for a school excursion, he saw a Neanderthal man statue, and he straight away, that's what we saw.
That's fascinating. I always wondered with the fires here, you know, where do they go? What do they do? So it's neat to know that they kind of follow the same MO. I'd
say that, yeah, there's a report from that helicopter pilot. I almost said driver then. Jesus. Helicopter pilot. Seeing them move away from the fire as they go. So like anything, even if it was a person, we'd be like, you hear about people that get stuck in marathons in bushfires and they have to run away from them, like keep moving. Otherwise you're cooked, literally.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I want to hear more of your buddy Matt's story.
He's very, he might come on. He because even he even wants to do like some hypnotherapy sessions to try and remember more. So he just remembers it vividly.
He thought was a Neanderthal.
Yeah. So originally he was 12 years old, so it was a fair while ago, and I believe he was up north. He can't remember exactly where they were camping, and him and his mates were just playing in the dirt, you know, with sticks, digging holes. Yeah, you just scrape that one hole because it's so fun. And they heard this rustling in the bush, and they looked up, and right there they saw, instantly they thought, because obviously your brain's conditioned to it, what am I seeing? Oh, that's an indigenous man that's still living out in the bush. But the indigenous here would wear like a loincloth or something covering their genitals and have a spear at least for them. They wouldn't just go walk about empty-handed. And he said it was all there to see. His dick was just swinging. He was really lean, not really covered in hair. He had hair all over, but wasn't like a Bigfoot or Sasquatch or anything, you know. And it looked at them and then looked up at the parents because they were like, well, they waved to it and it wouldn't wave back or anything as well. And he called out for his parents, and when they called out, it started walking away. And he said it was literally how people report it was walking, and it would turn its whole upper body to look at them and then look back because they were trying to get their parents to come and have a look. Oh, there's an indigenous bloke here. Come look at this. Like, this is awesome. And he said once it got into the bush, it was like just disappeared. Like couldn't see it anymore, but he could hear it like stomping away. And then after a certain distance, you wouldn't hear it. And he said it was just so... Yeah, he said it was more Neanderthal man rather than Sasquatch or Yowie. Oh, just a swanging. That's right. That's right, T-Roy.
But, and you said it was like, he was like 12 at the time?
Yeah. Yeah, he was 12 years old.
He's around your age now. How long ago?
I think he's probably 8 years older than me, I'd say.
Okay, so what do you think? 30 years ago?
It would have been easily 30 years ago. Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't want to say common, but not too uncommon to see an indigenous person.
No, well, they were camped out in the sticks a bit, so they weren't like near civilization, really. It was a proper camping ground.
People that were considered indigenous that like lived off the land. That
I think back then they still lived off. There were some communities that lived off the land. Yeah, well, that's what you see in all the shows. I think they were more in the desert. The indigenous that still lived off the land, like their ways, not in the Western world. But because we see it in shows and stuff, your mind, it's like pareidolia. You see a face. Oh, there's a face there. You know what I mean? Like. They see that and their brain goes, yep, that's an indigenous man. That's what I saw on the show. That's all that it could be. Oh, his dick's out.
But this dude was completely naked, swinging.
Completely naked, no bags or anything, just trudging through the bush.
That's fascinating to me.
Mm.
And Neanderthal or Thal, however you pronounce it, they have a very distinct face. Like the prominent brow ridge. Like gets reported a lot in Bigfoot or Yowie sightings.
Yep.
We hear over here a lot of people saying it looked like a caveman. Kind of like a caveman, an Indian caveman, a native caveman, or something like that. So that's fascinating to me, man. I had no idea.
Another correlation.
Yeah.
And he's very skeptical with this sort of stuff. Like he has experienced it, but at the same time, because it was so long ago, he's like, what have I filled in the gaps with? Because your brain does that.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows what happened and he knows what he saw, that it wasn't a typical normal human being. It was definitely something out there, because I think he said that it was the charcoal coloured skin is what got him, because it wasn't what you call a black fella, how we call them black fellas over here, because they can get really dark from being in the sun, obviously. And it was more charcoal, like you get the charcoal out of your fire and put it all over your skin.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and put this one up here. Troy's asking, was it hairy? You talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, it wasn't as hairy as what you'd think a Sasquatch or Yowie would be. He said he could still see definition in the muscles and stuff, but it wasn't just covered in hair.
That's interesting.
Now, because it means if there's one, there's more others, right?
Yeah. Now, Yowie reports, are they typically completely covered in hair like the Bigfoot reports?
Yep, usually.
Okay. All right, let's move on to some more pictures. What we got here?
So this is a picture. You can see how much the bark's actually ripped off that tree in that spot, and it's quite fresh where I'm pointing to. So if you go to, I didn't send it to your side on. Can you zoom that in? No. So this is off one of my videos that was probably the third video back, an early morning expedition. So that's Matt standing there, and he's about the same height as me, maybe slightly taller, so you could say 5'11". And he's down in this washout, like gully, ravine, however you want to call it. And he's actually reaching up there now with his feet and his knee up on the ledge to try and get out of there, and his arm still doesn't reach that tree. So what we are speculating there is that, and it was so worn where they walked as well, so that when you come up out of there, that's a hand wrapping around backwards and pulling themselves up on this tree, because it's all in the one spot. There's no animal claw marks down below. There's no animal claw marks up top. There's no hoof prints from deer as if they were using as a rub, which you'd see it a lot clearer if it was a rub from deer. So you rule everything out, and all you can do is speculate, of course. But that, to us, even, like I said, Matt, as the speculation one, he even said it really looks like someone's using that to pull themselves out of this ravine. And if we were, 7 foot with that longer arm length, being that Yowies and Sasquatch are reported to have quite long arms, that would be literally the perfect height and range. Grab onto it and pull yourself out.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
So that was something that's really interesting. Just finding little things like that. Like, it's all speculation, of course, but I mean, if it can correlate with somewhere else around the world with stuff like that, like I said, rule everything out. There's no claw marks. It's not an animal rub, because it would be completely worn everywhere. it dead set seems like that's a hand that's pulling themselves out, peeling it back that way.
What would be really cool, Jeremy, is if like y'all could like look closely and see if there's any like little hairs or like
we did look for that because it was morning sun and we couldn't see anything, unfortunately. But that's often what we look through the bush through light. A lot of the times we go, oh, there's one, and then you end up with a spider on the end of your bloody hand. So
all right, again, that's
Matt's not even touching where to reach. He's literally putting his arm out as far as he can go, and he still can't wrap around that tree. So if you add another 2 foot on him, you could easily use that as your pull-out post, you know. You can even see in that one just that there was no marking, no worn below the tree. You can see that nice clear worn mark right below his hand there, yeah, just above his hand on that one. But you can see the tree's fine bark the rest of the way. We were following a game trail too. That was on a game trail that we go into the bush and find a well-worn game trail and just keep following.
Now, do y'all use game cams over there?
I used to. Mainly, part of it was to be like, oh, I might get lucky enough, then they might not realise, but mostly to see what other animals and food were in the area. I've caught koalas with joeys on their backs with it, goannas, scrub chokies coming up to peck at it. Another mammal here called a quoll, which are, I don't know how to describe them. They're like a cat mixed with a raccoon. Yeah, that's probably a good way to say them. And it came up and chewed on the camera. Yeah, a quoll. Quoll, I believe or it's Qoll. I think it's Qu though. And they're quite aggressive. So one of those has chewed on it. A dingo. There was a wild dog that I caught. So I know I have found prints out there. But if dogs chase you or pigs or anything, you just climb a tree and they piss off because they get sick of it.
Man, these quoll things are cute.
Oh, you wouldn't want to hold one.
Really?
It's like a Tassie devil almost, yeah.
Everything's
they can be bloody vicious.
Everything will kill you there too.
Exactly. Even the locals, right?
That's funny.
But I did stop using the cameras after a while and finding all the other wildlife because I didn't want to taint the area because it is said that if you want to get rid of them, you just put game cameras up everywhere. They won't come near it. They don't want to be filmed.
Yeah, I don't know what I think about that. I mean,
if they can see the infrared light, I mean, how do you block that? Is there another way to do that? Is there another spectrum that they can't see that we can see? Because I was looking up something interesting the other day, and it was how deers perceive a tiger, and they can't see the orange on the tiger. All they see is it's green. Everything's green except for the dark shadows or black stripes. So they see just the black stripes and the bush matching in. So if we could, if we knew a spectrum that apes or something couldn't perceive, but we can. This is only something recently that I've been looking into to see if there is some sort of colorway spectrum you can put over a camera or something to where they can't see you as camouflage. But I found that really interesting that deer can't see the orange of a tiger. They just see green as the bushes and the stripes. So it's ultimate camouflage for them.
Well, and Doug Hatchak, too, was saying something on their show. He and Alex had put up a picture as to what a deer sees when it notices somebody in the woods that's wearing camouflage and they appear to be blue. So you're really
right.
So you're giving yourself away because they see you.
Is it the orange? Wouldn't it be the orange that they see, the vest, or is it just the pure camouflage of like green and?
Yeah, just the pure camo.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's something in the fabric.
Take it a second, Tiffany. I got to step away for just a second.
Yeah, sure.
I wonder if it's in the fabric, like a man-made color as opposed to a natural color green, if that's something to do with it.
Well, and it was really, it really stood out. And I was like, so all these people are out buying camo to like kind of blend in with the surroundings.
Yeah.
And you're like a sore thumb.
You just want to wear a brown shirt or something.
Something.
Fluoro.
Yes. So, but that would really be cool if we could figure out what it is that they, could possibly see. So,
yeah. Was it Doug Hatchak that did the experiment with the blue ball, and they found out that blue was the color they went to the most?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he found like the sebum on the ball, like the oils and.
Yes. Do y'all have?
Because I've thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, have y'all seen any of the sebum around? Anything that's been touched or?
No, it's so tricky. Like we try and go through it with a fine tooth comb, but at the same time, it's like there's so much to look at and look for that you're always gonna. I'm sure I've walked past multiple of them hiding behind a tree or something, snickering at me, going, "Look at this dickhead back here. We can smell him from a mile away."
He thinks he's
using his shea butter.
He's not. With his sweaty bum.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, right.
Whoa.
It's not a runny bum.
At least it's not a dirty bum.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are cute.
Yep. Yeah, so that looks like a smaller one. So they get a little bit bigger than that, and they're nocturnal. And up north on my family's farm, they used to put traps out because you wake up all night running in the roof, and when you try and get the trap out, they just go wild.
I've never heard of this animal. I learn something every time you come on, Jeremy.
Yeah, there's a few different types of them. I think there's a common quoll and eastern one, I think, as well. And there's some that are really, they're endangered as well. That's the one that I caught on camera because it had the spots on it. And he left his big nutsack for me to look at when he walked away as well. He's like, I'm going to chew on your camera for a bit and here's my nut. See you later.
So are they like the size of squirrels? It looks like the size of a squirrel.
Yeah. They're like a small dog size. Oh. They're bigger than a squirrel, but you do get some pretty big squirrels, don't you?
Well, yeah, but not that big.
No.
So pretty much a small dog. Yeah, like where's the camera? There you go. There, something like that.
Yeah, squirrels are like that without the tail, I'd say.
Yeah, so like 2 to 3 times a squirrel at least.
Shit. And you say they're mean?
They can be very aggressive. Yeah.
Don't pet it, Wayne. You'll die.
No, you don't want to pet that one.
I know. I want to pet a koala, but hell, you turn me against them.
Well, apparently it stresses them out if you touch them, so they've stopped people patting them at some places.
They're mean?
Because, well, it's daytime and they're like, what the fuck, man? You woke me up and you're touching me.
That's why they growl at you.
Gonorrhea or syphilis? What is it again?
It's chlamydia.
Chlamydia. Don't act like you don't know, Wayne. I know you've got a poster on your wall, the koala chlamydia. Try to say that fast. Koala chlamydia.
Oh my God.
All right, so you got anything interesting coming up? Any projects? Anything you want to talk about?
I'm just planning. I really want to try and do a full overnight stay over because I've got 3 weeks off for Christmas holidays. I've just finished my first week, so I've got 2 weeks left. So I really want to try and plan a full overnight, like stay out the whole night. Because I know Gary Lynn's told me, my mate, the Finderer, he said that usually stuff that's happened to him, you got to be out 10:30 onwards, sort of thing. But you want to get out there at the start of the night so that you can sit there, so things are used to you. The bush wakes up again. You're not just running around halfway through and they go, oh shit, here comes some dickhead hairless apes coming in. That one's got a sweaty bum.
Like a camping trip?
Yeah, pretty much just put a hammock up, if that, and just sit and act like humans. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't think you can be stealth and try and hide from them. But yeah, and possibly, it's probably not going to happen these holidays, but it's I will say in the works / planning, but it's in the very early stages of going out to a dam. There's a dam called Onogra Dam just across the road from where I research, and there's been reports in there, and Matt and I want to go out on paddle boards or something and sit there at night as well, or canoes, whatever we can get our hands on that's not too expensive.
Yeah.
And do that night sit to see if anything, you're not in the bush sitting. Hey, you and Brian were saying about going down a river and doing it.
Yeah.
So we have talked about that a bit, but it's this that you need,
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so cool that literally being on the other side of the world, we have such similar goals and plans and things that we want to do.
Yeah.
That's really
my goal is to see it for myself first. Obviously, I have seen something before, like a visual of a body. As I said, that was my black bear encounter where it scaled down the tree. So all I saw was that black hairy mass. But for me, I really just want to see.
Jeremy,
it's hard.
If you don't mind, before we get to the questions, tell everybody that story again.
So I was out by myself researching, going up to an area where I found a large X marker, and obviously the way this marker had fallen, there was no deadfall. It was off the same branch, but it was snapped off this end and then laying across it like that. But the way it was sitting, someone had to have placed that there with all the foliage on top. It would have leaned against that foliage. So I was up the ridge a bit higher from that X marker, just whispering to myself in the camera, saying, oh, look, how did this sapling go under this log? But the log's got all this long grass over it, and the sapling's only got fresh trees just growing up like little limbs. So it's not too old that's been sitting there. And I hear this, and it was the sound of pretty much someone, if you climb trees when you're a kid, standing on a branch that was just a bit too small, and it couldn't take your weight. It wasn't a deadfall slowly coming off by itself. It was someone or a weight of something on this branch and not being able to handle its weight. So from hearing that in the middle of the bush by myself, I look up quickly, and if you count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, that's as long as I saw it for, the last Mississippi. And it was literally this, I'd say dark brown, almost black, hairy mass, like the average size of a person, but hairy because the edges of it were all blurred. And we don't have anything in the Australian bush that is that big, that goes up in trees or whatnot. There's nothing, like it was literally just picture a black bear doing it. That's what I saw. And I froze because obviously, fuck, something huge that wasn't a burnt deadfall. Like in my mind, I'm going through all this stuff. Is that I need to go over there and see if it was a burnt deadfall from a burnt tree that's fallen off. So I went, fuck it, this is what I'm here for. Nothing ran away. It stayed where it was. There was no other noise. And of course, it was very quiet that day. So I went down this little gully back up the top. So it was about 50 meters away. And I kept going really slow because I was like, fuck, like that was something big if it was an animal because it was fucking hairy. So I'm trying to gear myself up with the camera like, oh, yep, can't find anything. And I actually ended up not being able to find anything. I was like, what the hell? But I did find a helium balloon. And I was like, how the fuck did this get in here through all the canopy above me? Like, it was really weird, like a party balloon. So I grabbed that, obviously, and put it in my bag because you should always take rubbish if you find it, even if it's not yours. And I walked over to where I thought it was, and I couldn't see anything that matched what I saw. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that should be here. And in the video, it's on my channel, it's X marker and possible juvenile encounter. That's the video of this experience. And as I turn the camera and look up the ridge, only 12 foot away, 12 to 6 foot, right there, as I turn the camera away from it, because it must have maybe thought that I was going to keep heading up the ridge, maybe towards some other ones, but the bushes were just for about that long, and I just froze straight away and went, hello? Okay, I'm leaving now, because I knew, like, it wasn't an animal. You can hear it in the video, but unfortunately it doesn't pick it up crazy like you hear in person, like always. And it wasn't an animal. People could say that was an animal rustling out and then running off. It was dead set a fucking tree being shaken at me to say, get the fuck out of here, you're getting too close. Because the only reason I know of that instance is because Indigenous elders have told me in the past that when you get too close to them, they'll shake the bushes at you to scare you, to get you to move away. And it literally dead set like happened to me this day. I even stumbled out, walking out. I didn't have a flare on me, like a monocular, a thermal. I bought one after this instance because of this incident or encounter. Because if I had one then, I would have seen exactly where it was and exactly what it was. And it was dead set. I've been there back that same spot before, and you can walk into where it would have been standing and grab that trunk, which is probably about that round of the tree. Well, where's my camera? There we go. And grab it and shake it. And I did it, and it was like, oh, like I got shivers because it was exactly what I heard and exactly a perfect amount of area for something to stand and do it.
Damn, when was this?
This would have been a year ago, about a year ago now.
So you were obviously very well into the topic.
Yes, yeah. And it was something that was like, this isn't an animal. This isn't a native animal that we have, if you want to say, from the books. You know, this isn't in the Encyclopedia of Australian Species. This was dead set. If it was us, I feel like if it was someone from the US or Canada there, they would have thought, fuck, there's a black bear. Like if they saw what I saw, they'd be like, that's a black bear scaling out of a tree, like fully as fast as it could. And there was no deadfall. Obviously no burnt deadfall from a branch or anything. It was dead set. Since going back, taking photos from the same spot, lining it up with my original video, there's a bit of shadow that's a bit too dark in my video and not quite as dark in the one taken after. So there was definitely something in that space. I've put it up as a little short, not a short, but a smaller video saying, can anyone see anything? If you can put filters on or whatever to bring shadow out, go for it. Like, and you can just see this darker sort of mass. It's just a darker bit of shadow than it should be.
Damn.
I really wish I had a thermal that day because I would have just pulled it out and sat there. Like it shoulda, coulda, woulda. I could have left my phone there filming, gone out for an hour and come back. The phone could have been gone, but it's really a shoulda, coulda, woulda. So every time if something happens now, it's like, okay, get out of that fight or flight. You need to go and investigate. Otherwise, all it takes is literally like 30 seconds and then they're gone. If it's them.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some of these questions. You have several questions to get to. You are a crowd favorite, Jeremy.
Good to hear.
People love that cunt.
Yeah, people love that.
I'd say get a shirt made up, but it's probably inappropriate to wear over there. Howdy, cunt. And they're like, fuck you.
Let's try to rapid fire some of these questions. Mr. T. Roy, how long has Jeremy been investigating Yowie?
Just over 2 years now.
2 years. Good stuff. Mr. Ristle, Jeremy, do the Aboriginal culture have stories of the Yowie in their history? Good question.
Yep, and they've got rock paintings as well, portraying the Doolagar or the Yowie or the hairy man in the bush.
Do y'all hear like a fucking duck quacking in the background? What is that?
It could be a crow, my resident crow living in the power tower across the road.
It's a crow.
They just had a baby, they're celebrating.
Yo, what the hell that was? It sounds like a duck.
No, it's a crow, yeah.
Tell them to shut up. We're doing a live.
Shut up!
Ristel also asked, what's the length of those prints?
19.5 centimeters long. Tiffany, go.
Tiffany. She's on it. And we will go
to I didn't have a tape measure when I first found them. So I'd use my measurement like this with my hand. It would be exactly that distance.
Okay. Until she finds that one. Troy, what part of Australia does Jeremy live in / research in?
Queensland, near Brisbane City. So it's very close to suburbia where I go as well. And then it's National Park.
So it's close to Sydney?
No, suburbia, Brisbane City.
How far from
Brisbane?
Sydney?
From Sydney, that's like a 2-day drive, 10 to 16 hours drive.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I've told that story before. My daughter is named Sydney because I love Australia. I always have.
Yeah. And the Olympics were there?
The year she was born, in 2000, they held the Olympics there.
Yeah.
I keep waiting on Tiffany if she's ready to answer the question.
Well, I hate Google right now. Like, I can look it up everywhere. Okay, I've looked it up 3 different times. What is
7.6 inches? There you go. I'm not trying to take your job or anything, Tiffany.
I saw 7 inches, and I'm like, that's got to be bigger than 7 inches.
No, that's why I think it's a juvenile one or something, or the Junjidi, the smaller one. Because it's Junjidi. Yeah, Junjidi or Junjidi, depends on how you pronounce it. But yeah, 7.7 inches it says.
Yeah, I found that answer, but I was like, Google's
not
lying.
Quite 8 inches.
I thought that was small too, 7 inches, right?
7 inches. That's like 3rd grade.
When you're born, nah.
Yeah, I wish. All right, Troy. Exactly, Jeremy. A human would have to use body weight and feet to break that tree.
Yeah. Even if you created, like I said, like something metal that clasps on the tree and it's got a long lever on it for that, that extra bit of weight, you'd have to get people to jump on it to snap it so clean and twist. You just can't do it.
Troy, how is it possible that so many continents have similar reports from before they had contact? I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Great point.
Yep. It's every ancient culture has stories of the hairy man in the bush.
I mean, if you stop and you think about that for a second, that's fascinating in itself. We didn't have the internet back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's before phones, but we didn't have phones. We didn't have ways to call people in different countries or continents. But yet, You have like cave drawings over there and shit. We have it over here from around the same period. We weren't communicating. There's no way to communicate. No. How is it possible? How do you need more proof than that?
Exactly. Trace evidence. You could convict someone of murder with the trace evidence we have of Sasquatch or Yowie. So you could easily, in a court of law. And then the naysayers will just say, yeah, it's just some big dude with big feet walking barefoot, grounding himself. It's like just leaving one print, snapping one giant tree.
Why are there drawings in caves of these big hairy giants with big feet?
Right.
They're here.
Could you create it without the internet and knowing what goblins and things look like? Like they just pulled it out of their ass out of nowhere? No, they drew what they saw. Same with cavemen. They drew the mammoths that they hunted.
Right. Well, and that's my thing. And that's what I was telling you, that if people would go back to the indigenous, and the Native American, all of that, they would, we would be so much closer than where we are now with modernization and all this stuff. Just go back to, when they were seeing them and drawing them.
Yep. All the megaliths like the Göbekli Tepe and stuff, they've got a stegosaurus etched into the stone. How did they know what it looked like when they were just finding bones, but yet they've got the flesh on it and the spikes on top? Like you can't tell me, even in hieroglyphs and stuff, they've got hieroglyphs of UFOs, the flaming chariot. Like, it's just how they perceived it back then because they had no idea what they were looking at.
Right.
Well, unless it was these things, they had exactly idea. Kids, don't go out in the bush at night because the hairy man will get you. The duergar will get you. You don't whistle at night. That's the same stories here. The indigenous say you can't go out and whistle at night. You can't let your kids go out at night. You can't whistle at night because you'll call them in. And that's over there. It's the same thing on the reservations, or the indigenous. You can't whistle. That's what calls them in, yeah. And it's a correlation, like we just said, it's all over the world.
But they're not real.
They're not real.
We're all just batshit
We're crazy. You cunts are crazy. Like,
it's fascinating. I love this fucking topic. I really do. All right, Troy. How does the description of the Yowie line up to the video of Patty? Awesome question.
I think a lot of them, like what you have over there, you've got all different types as well. They look different. How we look different. Even like all Westerners look different to each other, even though some people say we all look different and vice versa. I think, there are reports that I've heard that some people say it looked like the Patterson Gimlin film, if blah, 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 if they've heard it. Other people say, no, it was more slender. Other people say it was really short with a belly and breasts. Like, it lines up like every other report around the world.
All right. Troy, have you ever backed a possum in a corner?
Even better. I've had to pull one out of my roller door that got jammed in it.
Oh,
so you got to don those welding gloves, get some welding gloves and grab the tail. And they got no strength then if you got them by the tail. But they're like the koala. They're just so fucking vicious.
Possums?
When they hiss and oh my gosh, the teeth. Whew.
Possums,
they're just scary.
The ugliest fucking creatures in North America. I think they're just.
Our possums look different. Our possums are really cute because we've got a few different types. The ringtails are nice and cute. They're small. They've got a little hairless tail, and then you've got a brush tail, and they get big.
God damn it, Jeremy! Of all the shows I've ever done, this one you've made me reach for my phone so much more. Now I want to see an Australian possum. But
you're not just texting Tiffany saying "fuck," he's talking shit.
I'll wait till after the show to look for the fucking Australian possum.
I'll look for it now.
Yeah, they look cute, but they're bloody vicious.
All right. And Troy, before I pop this one up, I did ask Jeremy this before we came on. Jeremy, what kind of piss do you like to drink?
I enjoy a nice lager, a beer. But I said to Wayne, I've run out, unfortunately. I need to stock up again, but some single malt scotch as well. I don't mind gin as well, but my main go-to is a nice lager or scotch on the rocks, maybe with a dash of Pepsi Max.
Yeah. Troy and I are whiskey fellas. He's a Wild Turkey 101 fella.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, my go-to scotch is Glen Grant Arboralis.
Never heard of it.
Delicious. You might not even be able to get it over there.
What did you send me, Tiff?
A possum. It's a bush.
God damn, that don't look anything like Tiffany, can you take over these last questions and I'm gonna post it.
Yeah, let me
Yeah, just
go.
imagine that cute little fella looking at you in the roller door going, I'm stuck. And you're like, come here, mate. It's like, "Ah!"
Have you ever seen the possums that we have?
The ones that play dead?
Yeah, but they're
Are they opossums?
They're opossums, but the O is
Opossum.
well, like, I mean, if you get a wild hair, you can say opossum.
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 If it will ever
Opossum.
Are Yowie known to climb?
I believe so. I've been told a lot by Gary Linigan that to look up in the trees as well. And obviously from my encounter, the possible juvenile encounter, always say possible, that I just told, I do believe you should be looking up in trees as well.
So that's a Yowie possum right there, or an Australian possum.
It's the bushtail one.
That's a brush tail, yeah.
Yeah, the brush tail.
That looks like a cat.
I know, but see, Wayne, if we ever go to Australia, I'm gonna have to remind you repeatedly: don't touch anything.
That's not even the cats here are fucking aggressive.
We're doomed.
The feral cats, yeah, and they get big too.
Doomed. T-Roy wants to know, what would it take to get Jeremy here in the USA for an investigation?
That's what I want.
A lottery win.
Money.
Yeah, money. Money. Yeah, I often think about it and daydream all the time, like getting Brian and Wayne Tiff over here and having a week to do some research and show them the area, and then me coming over and
a month.
2 weeks. There you go, a month. There you go.
You need a month over there. You need a month here.
Month.
Oh my God, that would be amazing, dude.
That would be
I have got some long service leave I can use. I've got 3 months of long service, so it could definitely be a possibility in the future. When my daughter's a little older and the whole family can come over.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Because it's not fair that they have to stay here in hot Australia and we come over there. And
I know.
How old's your daughter?
She's 4 next year. So she's 3.5 now.
My daughter is 3.5.
Teenagers.
What year did?
God.
What month was she born?
May.
May what?
You first.
28th.
23rd.
Holy fuck!
So close.
Your daughter
There you go.
is 5 days older than mine.
We could have been conceiving at the same time, Wayne.
We probably were.
Oh, I don't want to.
I knew something felt special about that. Were you drunk?
Probably.
We were too.
Holy shit! We could have been knocking boots at the same time to
That's
produce
it.
our beautiful daughters.
That's right. Our little devils. My daughter was born at 3:33 a.m.
Like, yes, Scarlett was born in the afternoon.
The devil's hour she was.
Yep.
You got to make it happen, man. There's too many similarities. We got to make it happen. You got to get over here. We got to get over there.
It will happen eventually. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
All
just we don't have guns over here. We're not allowed guns like you guys are. So.
Well, it'd be all right. We'll figure something out.
I know how to use them. It's all right.
Well, Rista wants to know, does the government there try to cover up the past as bad as the U.S. government does, or are they more open?
Good question.
They do hide a lot of things, as in what they did to the Indigenous people when they came here. There's a lot of really bad genocide and stuff. They still... in the latest episode of that Bigfoot podcast where Brian was talking about some Yowies, and in a journal from, I think it was Captain Cook's botanist, or one of those people, he has an encounter with a hairy man as well, but yet it's left there. They even spoke about it as like, there's newspaper clippings. Does Australia have an old world ape or something from way in the late 1800s to early 1900s? That's what they spoke about, but now it's literally nothing, even though that was advertised in a journal. That was someone's encounter. The Indigenous told them about it, and then they had their own encounters, but yet it's still, it's just a myth. But they do cover up a lot. Like most governments do, keep the people happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not happy, it's just blinded. Keep the people blinded.
Exactly.
Keep their head buried in the sand. We can't disturb it too much.
It would only take all of us to rise up to be martial law then, and then we may end up back where we were or even worse off.
Wow.
All right. Jeremy, tell everybody where they can find you, if they want to contact you, all of that good stuff. Anything you want to promote, buddy, this is your chance.
Yep. So just my YouTube channel it's on the screen, Agaloo Yowie R&I. If you type that in, you'll find me. And if you have any encounters, if you're from Australia, I've had people contact me. It's just jmanta2009@gmail.com, but that's in my description on YouTube as well. So go and check out the videos, leave a comment, whether it's positive or negative. I'm happy to talk about and discuss anything that you think about it. Your opinions, it could have been something I missed that might help me now in the future research. So I'm always wanting people to comment and let me know your thoughts on anything you watch there.
And I will definitely provide the link when this goes to podcast. Jeremy, you are absolutely one of our most favorite, not just guests, but favorite people on this planet. I look forward to your messages, to hearing your voicemails on that Bigfoot podcast. You're an awesome dude. And like I said earlier, I'm proud to call you a friend. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's the same with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's more than friends now. We're becoming family in this subject in the world. So thank you for having me part of everything, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll have to get together and we'll come to your place and you can come to. Well, I have to drive like 7 hours to get where Wayne is, but I'll drive it.
Jeremy's coming.
I'm in the car already.
I don't think you can drive to Jeremy. You can drive to me.
If he comes to Tennessee, I mean, I'll stop and get some coffee on the way, and it'll be a trip.
Yeah, you might not make the trip in a container in your car over here on the ship.
All right, buddy. You enjoy the rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we'll have you back. I know you're going to be back.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll always keep you updated with everything. And thanks again for having me. Appreciate it.
Buddy. Be good.
See you guys. See you, cunts.
And that damn crow.
Not even the crow said bye.
The crow
said bye.
I'm just translating. He said, see you later, cunts.
See, cunt.
All right. Be good, buddy. We'll see you.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. I love him. I
love that cunt.
Gosh, he just makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah. He's good people.
I know. Bigfoot has brought so many people together. If he only knew.
If I wasn't into Bigfoot, I would have never met Jeremy. I would have never met you. I would have never met Brian. I don't know what I'd be doing with my life right now. I'd be working in some fucking factory.
I'd still be retailing it another 25 years.
This subject, man. To the people like Wes that caused the community of cancer, fuck you, dude. The Bigfoot community, we all have every community, every topic has its assholes. You know, there's going to be people that put a black eye on it, but for the most part, some of the best people I've ever known, my best friends, have come from this hairy creature that may or may not exist.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
And I'm so thankful for every one of you guys. To our, what does that say? Cunts for President
2020. I'm sorry, I had to.
To our viewers out there, our followers, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please help Miss Tiffany and I continue to grow this show. Share it. I was watching tonight. We should have so many more people watching.
Oh my gosh, I know.
These live shows. And we'll get there. We will get there, but it's going to take help from you guys to spread the word. But you got anything else, ma'am?
Yes, Crystal said before we ended, I have a request. What is your request?
What is your request?
One of our favorite guests,
Crystal Blevins, aka Ghost Bait.
Major bullshit.
Yes, I have heard of that major bullshit, and I told her I wouldn't talk about it. Thank you, Goony Goo Goo. If we're talking about the same thing, I told her that I wouldn't discuss it, but I offered, because we do have a platform. Crystal, if you're watching, if you need our help, we will do everything that we can.
Of course.
So, yeah, appreciate you bringing that out, Crystal.
Yes, yes.
And Goony Goo Goo, thank you for the super sticker, buddy. You're awesome.
I know. In the comments on YouTube in the chat, it looks like this little it's a lemon head. It has a lemon head and it's blowing a kiss. That's what it's doing.
What?
In the chat, if you're on YouTube watching, that's what it's doing.
Who?
That's so cute. Goony Goo Goo is blowing us kisses.
Oh. All right. You got anything else, ma'am, before we get up out of here?
No, I think that's all, because I don't think we have. Oh, well, shit. Yeah, we do. Our year in review is coming up.
Tuesday,
yes. And we are going to try.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we are going to try to get everything meshed and together and videoed and shared.
We will be working on it. But yeah, we will see you guys Tuesday for our year in review. We'll be sharing our favorite shows from this past year.
Yes, and tune in tomorrow for the spooky Sunday that I even scared Wayne with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have got it completely edited. I have not gotten it ready for YouTube yet, but it will be.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here, ma'am.
All right. Love you guys. Mean it.
Guys, until we talk to y'all again, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.